Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. So recently I've had a lot of discussions with a lot of different people how to go about forming a good CSGO team. So basically I've decided to make a video about it, so let's begin. So the first and the most important thing, of course, are going to be the players. You're gonna need good players, and of course not good just in the sense like, oh, you're global, or you're good at the game or whatever. That's of course is gonna be like the most minor thing. All the people that you're gonna be considering for the team, are gonna actually have to be good. So of course that's not the main thing. Basically, what you're gonna need is you're gonna make a group of 5 people. Maybe you're gonna be one of them, maybe not. You're gonna make a group of 5 people, and you're gonna have to make it a team. Basically, one of the most important things is for players to feel comfortable within a team. So you're gonna need 5 people that understand each other, that don't get on each other's nerves or whatever. Because if a player isn't feeling comfortable, he's probably not gonna perform at his top level or be very inconsistent. Or stuff like that, which will just hurt the team in return, which of course won't be good. So the next thing, you're gonna need 5 players that are actually kind of right for each other, how all of them have, kind of an approach to the game. Basically, we're gonna need 5 players that cover all the spots that you need to cover on maps. So let me explain a little bit what I'm talking about. So many good players play particular spots. I'm talking about the CT side on different maps. So let's say one player will be just very good playing Dust 2, a pit position. Maybe he goes A short sometimes, but that's it. He never plays mid. He never goes on B, so of course he doesn't have a lot of experience there. Because when you are at this top level, to have experience at a certain part on a map is just gonna take time. You're gonna need to know when to peek, where to hide, how to have your whole approach to it, how to react, how to call, whatever. There's a lot of things, and if you have a bunch of players wanting one spot, only one guy is obviously gonna get it, and the others are gonna have to go out of their comfort zone. Kind of coming back to the previous point that I've made, and they're basically gonna need to learn how to play that spot, which will just take time. Like I said, they may not be comfortable, and it's just not gonna work, or at least not gonna work at the start. So that's also another thing that you need to keep in mind. Then you're gonna need players that are gonna work well together. Maybe one player is used to being kind of the center of attention. He's used to the team playing around him, and maybe that's not gonna be the case in your team. A great example is, for instance, when Titan was still a professional CSGO team. They played around Kenny S, and that's how they won. And Kenny S also, if you just put him on a team where he's not the center of the attention, where he just has to do how he's kind of if he doesn't have his freedom, he's probably not going to be nearly as good, because that's his play style, that's how he's most effective at. And that's basically it. So you gotta take into the count how adding this one player is going to affect the other 4 players. So there's a lot of things there. You're just gonna need to kind of find the right combination of players. So basically in Pro CS, for instance, you have a lot of people being like why don't they just form this super powerful team? And that is just because players don't work together. Maybe this team centers around this player, that's why he performs good. If he goes there, they're not going to be centering around him, and basically he's not going to perform nearly as good. So all of these different considerations. So now I'm actually going to go into the player roles. So first, you're gonna need 2 anchors on the map. This is CT side. What are anchors? Anchors are basically gonna be a player. There's gonna be 2 of them per map. They are gonna be players that are gonna be defending a bomb site on CT side, often be the last or the first point of defense, and they're just not gonna be moving around that much. For instance, you put a player dust 2 A long. You know, an anchor would be, for instance, inside the pit position. Why? Because for pretty much the entire round, unless you know you rotate or whatever, he is going to be in pit, waiting for someone to make a move on you know, to go from basically T spawn to A long. He's not going to be moving around the map that much. When you have someone, for instance, that's doing stuff on short, you know, maybe he's gonna go peek short, he's gonna check out middle, maybe he's gonna retreat back into site, play from there. So basically he moves a lot more compared to the pit player. Another great instance is for instance on Inferno, the pit position. You know, a player is also gonna be there a lot of the time, like the Inferno on B, where you just, you know, gotta stick to the site and try to do as much as you can. So those are the anchor players. They're arguably considered kind of the most important players, but you know, that's basically that. Then we're gonna need an AWP player. So basically you're gonna need a guy who is not only good with the op, but knows how to use it. For instance, because if you just have someone who just hold angles all the time, you know, he might not be as useful. You know, you kind of need the upper instinct, so to speak. You know, basically when you're on the T side or on the CT side, he needs to know where to go, where to peek, and how to get those entry frags, how to be effective. You know, not just him playing for frags or whatever. He needs to be effective, contributing to the team. He needs to have that kind of killer's instinct. So you're gonna have to have someone that knows how to do those things. So in return, your other players will also like him for that, because, you know, he gets those kills and stuff. Because, you know, if he pretty much does nothing important, you know, players are basically, you know, not gonna like the fact that, you know, for instance, at the end of the round, they're gonna drop their gun to pick up his AWP, so they can drop in the AWP and they have to rebuy themselves. So, you know, that's again with the comfort. So yeah, you're gonna need to know someone who knows how to use the AWP, but, you know, also knows how to play the AWP basically. Then we have the entry fraggers. So this is arguably kind of the shittiest role within a team. You're gonna need players, one or two players that are just gonna be, you know, of course, skilled in aim and gonna be prepared to die. You know, you see a lot of great players on teams just not having such great scorelines, so everybody's like, wow, you suck, why do they still have you on the team? But that could be just due to the fact that, you know, they actually don't enable him in a sort of a way. So, you know, kind of like how Titan was centered around Kenny S. You know, that was, you know, the center Kenny S was supposed to perform so well, and of course other people had to make sacrifices for that. So, for instance, when you have people, if you have Inferno, for instance, how you push to the A side, you go from mid, you go to the right, and then you just try to burst out to the side. You have so many different positions to check. You have graveyard, you have apartments, maybe you have pit, you have actual site. So the first player that's gonna go in there is most likely gonna die. So the entry fraggers are gonna need to, you know, be ready to die. Be ready to die each round, whatever, you know. The main focus around them is gonna be they're gonna peek. If they get a kill, great. If they don't, they die. And then it's up to your other players to get a refrag, because you're gonna know where the other player is, and you're basically gonna try to get a refrag. So, you know, entry fraggers are also very important. For instance, sometimes when some people, when you're playing matchmaking or something like that, you might have a team with people who just don't want to entry, and you might just end up running the clock way too low, and you kind of lose the round like that because nobody wants to peek, and that's of course not good. You don't want to be stuck at one position and you run out of your utility, smoke splashes, and well, that's just the end basically. Then the next role I'm going to be talking about is going to be the lurk player. Very important role indeed. You're going to need a player that's skilled, that knows what he's doing. He's most of the time going to be on the other side of the map than the team is. He's going to need to know how to force rotations, when to peek, when to, let's say, come behind the enemy to just rape them and win you the round. You're basically going to need a good player. For instance, Happy, currently playing on Envious, is an excellent lurker. One of the most well-known lurkers also is Get Right from NIP. He's very good as well. So yeah, you're gonna need a smart player. He needs to know how to force rotations, when to peek, how not to die, so he doesn't just give the early advantage to the other team. And also because once you start to get a better team, people are gonna know who your lurk player is. Maybe he gets killed on the other side of the map, and people are like, well, okay, we kind of heard one player here. We killed him. He's supposed to be the lurk player on this team. They're probably on the other side of the map, so you're gonna need a good player to be the lurk player. And the last one, probably the most important one. I know I already said that, but your last one is gonna be the IGL, the in-game leader, which Valve has made a lot more valuable recently with their update. That you can have coaches as in-game leaders anymore. For instance, that was a big part on NIP where Fret was the in-game leader, their coach, and then also on Navi when there was Starix as the in-game leader. So I believe you can't have your coaches as in-game leaders on majors, or maybe just all like big tournaments. You can have them still online, I'm pretty sure, but just because of that, teams are kind of moving away from having their coach to be their in-game leader. Instead, they're just using them to gather, material about the team, so they know how to play and stuff, what to watch out for. And again, one of the players is going to have to be an in-game leader. For instance, very good in-game leaders are like Pronax, Existence. Daze was very good in iBuyPower before they got banned. So yeah, you basically, the in-game leader, for instance, he's just gonna have to be ready to do the work. Sean Garris is also the one that I really like. He's gonna need to, be ready to do the work, do the research about the team, come up with this new strats, and, with that, also sort of have the biggest respect within a team. Because, what can happen? Let's say I am an in-game leader in a team and we're losing. My strats just aren't working. So the worst thing at this point that can kind of happen is, I'm like, okay, let's go on ace, and somebody just starts talking. No, like, screw you. I just, I don't have respect for you. You're just not working. I don't like your strats. They're, you're basically saying rush A, smoke off that position, and that's like it, and you call yourself an in-game leader. So yeah, the IGL, he's gonna need to be ready to do the work. He's gonna need to earn the respect of his team with good strats and good mid-game calls and such. So the players don't basically retaliate, and well, you're kind of screwed. So yeah, when you're looking for an IGL, he's gonna need to be ready. For instance, constantly watching pro games, so you can ready up for the other teams, so he sees all the new strats that are being used, so he can implement them into your style of play and such things. You're gonna need to have an in-game leader that basically knows what you know, he's doing. He has a map of all the players on the map, like what are you doing, like when you're gonna peak, things like that. You know, if you have someone who just says, okay guys, we're gonna rush B, so you're gonna smoke off bench on Mirage, one is gonna go underpass, and then at this point we're gonna throw a flash and we're gonna go in. You know, you're gonna need to have like detailed strats and stuff that, you know, basically yeah. So let's say now you have mastered all of this. You have players, they're good, they work together well, they communicate well, you have all your roles set up and everybody's happy. So this is already kind of, you know, a very good team. You know, you have the potential to be tier 2, tier 1. And yeah, because when you get to this point where you have 5 right players that are good at their roles, coming up with strats, it's kind of easy compared to that. So guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this. It's actually not a little video, it's actually over 16 minutes long. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Yeah, goodbye.